Jan 6th insurrectionist Taylor Taranto back in the news, doing things so bad that even this Trump Department of Justice is recommending that he be sent back to jail. Why is he in jail? I thought he got a pardon. He did. But then 3 years after Jan 6th, he decided, based on a doxing social media post by President Trump, identifying candidate Trump, identifying Barack Obama's actual residence in the Colorama neighborhood in District of Columbia. This guy live streamed bomb threats trying to find Obama's house. He gets arrested by Secret Service and the rest when he does that. And then he serves 2 years in jail.
All right, everyone, we need to talk about January 6th insurrectionist Taylor Taranto, who is back in the news doing things so bad that even this Trump Department of Justice is recommending that he be sent back to jail. Now, you might be asking, why is he facing jail? I thought he got a pardon from Trump. He did get pardoned. But then, 3 years after January 6th, he decided to do something so dangerous and deranged that even Trump's own DOJ can't ignore it. Here's what happened. Based on a doxing social media post by then-candidate Trump that identified Barack Obama's actual residence in the Colorama neighborhood in Washington, D.C., this guy live-streamed himself making bomb threats while trying to find Obama's house. He was arrested by the Secret Service when he did that, and he was so dangerous that he served 2 years in pretrial detention. That's right, 2 years in jail before even being convicted, because he was deemed that much of a threat to public safety. Pretrial detention was absolutely appropriate, especially given his history as a January 6th insurrectionist. By the way, I am trying to do my best to gather all the information I can for you and share it with you. Please leave your likes and comments, and I would be grateful if you subscribed. Let's continue. So this Washington state resident, having served those 2 years in pre-trial detention, gets sentenced and convicted by Judge Carl Nichols, who is actually a Trump appointee. But Taranto is back in the news because he just got sentenced on October 30th to time served, those 2 years plus 36 months of probation. And now, just over a month later, he's back in the District of Columbia trying to go after Congressman Jamie Raskin. Maybe, just maybe, there aren't good people on both sides of an insurrection. Let me walk you through this timeline because it's absolutely insane. Taylor Taranto was infamously part of the mob that stormed the Capitol on January 6th, broke through doors, participated in what we accurately call an insurrection. He gets a free pass, he gets pardoned for his crimes by Donald Trump, but within 2.5 years, he's back in D.C. because Trump had posted Barack Obama's residential address, doxing him publicly. Taranto goes into Obama's neighborhood live streaming, trying to find the former president, looking for tunnels, planning to blow up Barack Obama and his house. This is not hyperbole. This is what he was attempting to do. Now, this guy has psychiatric problems, which are noted by the probation department. He's got problems with drugs and drug use. I understand those are mitigating factors, but maybe that's exactly why he shouldn't be walking free. Those issues helped him avoid more serious jail time initially. For that incident involving the Obama bomb threat, he got arrested and prosecuted by the Biden Department of Justice and was sentenced before Judge Nichols. I actually did a hot take about the sentencing because it was quite bizarre. The original assistant U.S. attorneys submitted a sentencing memo recommending several years in jail for this guy, and in their memo, they had a paragraph that explicitly stated that based on then-candidate Trump doxing and releasing Obama's address, Taranto went to the neighborhood to make the bomb threat. But here's where it gets political and disturbing. That paragraph got filed with the court, and it freaked out DOJ leadership. They got really angry. They sidelined those 2 lawyers who wrote the truth about Trump's role. They brought in 2 more lawyers under the U.S. Attorney for D.C., and that paragraph about Trump's role in almost getting Barack Obama bombed and killed magically disappeared from the record. So we're talking about the same guy who did all of this. Despite everything, Judge Nichols says, "You already served 2 years in pretrial detention." That's how bad this guy was. He was so dangerous that he had to be kept off the streets even though he's presumed innocent. They satisfied all the legal criteria to keep him in jail because of his dangerous background, including his January 6th participation. The judge says, "All right, here's what we're going to do. I see the sentencing memo. I see the recommendations. 36 months probation, time served for those 2 years, never want to see you again. Here are your conditions of probation: psychiatric treatment, regular check-ins, stay off drugs, that kind of thing. Thank you, good day. Taranto leaves on October 30th. It's now only December 6th or 7th, barely over a month later. He comes back to D.C. from Washington State, purposely returns, and starts looking around for Representative Jamie Raskin, the ranking member on the House Judiciary Committee, to try to blow him up, to try to assassinate him. And just to show you how out of his mind this guy is, he also threatened to bomb the National Institute of Standards and Testing. That's right, the Federal Testing Standards Agency. That's who he thinks is the evil empire. So they arrest him again, and now the Department of Justice comes back with a hearing just this past Friday before Judge Nichols. And even this Trump Department of Justice, which has been incredibly lenient on January 6th criminals, even they see that this guy is a danger to society. They're saying he needs to go back to jail. That's how bad things have to be under Trump's DOJ. You have to be a January 6th insurrectionist. You have to be someone who live-streamed yourself trying to bomb Barack Obama's house. And then you have to come back in violation of your probation and try to take out Jamie Raskin. And then, and only then, will the Trump Department of Justice offer to send you back to jail. That's what it takes to get them to enforce the law. So Judge Nichols held this hearing on Friday. I wasn't in the courtroom, so I'm reporting based on what people who were there are saying. Apparently, Judge Nichols asked the probation department for their recommendation, and the probation department was against sending him back to jail. They said he's got medical problems, psychiatric problems, drug problems. Keep him in all his required treatments, but don't send him back to jail. I've got news for the probation department. Wrong move. I want him off the streets. What are you going to do? Wait until he actually blows up an elected official before you do something about it. Even the Trump Department of Justice is saying no. We want his probation revoked and we want him back in jail. The judge would have to re-sentence him to a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it's going to be. Remember, he already served 2 years. So the judge did what they call a Solomonic split the baby decision. He said, all right, here's what I'm going to do. Go back to Washington State. Get out of D.C. Stay there through the holidays. Get back on your probation check-ins. You have a hearing on December 10th in Washington State. If you screw that up and you come back to D.C., I'm going to throw the book at you. I'm going to consider what to do about you in the next 3 weeks. In other words, be on your best behavior. Don't mess this up. Demonstrate to the court that you can maintain your liberty through probation, or I'm going to send you back to jail based on your prior performance. Here's my prediction. He's going to screw this up. I just hope that nobody, all kidding aside, that nobody is seriously injured or, God forbid, assassinated. We live in a society now where, between the Charlie Kirk-inspired murder of an elected official in Minnesota, murdered in their bed, arson against governors and judges in South Carolina, this is a tinderbox created by Donald Trump and his rhetoric. Look at how many people are getting attacked and threatened because of Donald Trump. All of those elected officials who participated in the Don't Give Up the Ship video as members of the military or former members of the intelligence community or veterans, every one of them from Senator Mark Kelly on down got death threats against them. Hundreds and thousands of death threats. I'm not sure I want Taylor Taranto roaming the streets of America or anybody losing track of him. Obviously, he slipped away from probation requirements before. He eluded supervision. So we'll continue to follow Taylor Taranto's case. As most people know, during the January 6th criminal processes, bench trials, jury trials, convictions, and sentencing, I covered almost every one of them, including Taylor Taranto's. So I'm glad I'm able to bring you all together and give you this information about it. It's up to Taylor Taranto now. Again, I just hope that innocent people and elected officials don't end up in harm's way because Judge Nichols has sent him home for the holidays. We'll have to continue to follow this story. This is your justice system under Trump, a January 6th insurrectionist who got pardoned, who then tried to bomb Barack Obama's house based on Trump's doxing, who served 2 years in pretrial detention because he was so dangerous, who got released on probation, and who immediately violated that probation by going after another elected official, Congressman Jamie Raskin. And even with all of that, even with the Trump DOJ asking for him to be jailed, the judge is giving him another chance to prove he can behave. This is what Trump's rhetoric creates. This is what happens when you pardon violent insurrectionists. This is what happens when you dox former presidents and other public officials. This is the tinderbox we're living in. And Taylor Taranto is just one match away from potentially causing a tragedy. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he complies with the court's order. But based on his track record, I'm not optimistic. And that should terrify all of us.